This book is a little longer. It's called The Ghost in the Classroom by Gerda Wagener. Tina lived alone with her mother and father. She had no sisters and no brothers and no dog and no fish and no cat. Tina didn't want a brother or a sister. Tina didn't want a dog or a fish. She wanted a cat. Tina went to school. Her teacher was very nice. She let all the children do a project. They could do a project on anything they liked. Tina did a project on cats. All the time she studied, she thought about the cat that she wanted. Tina sat next to Anthony. Anthony was Tina's best friend, and Anthony could draw cats. Anthony drew a cat for Tina's project. It was a beautiful picture of a cat. But what was a picture compared to a real cat, Tina sighed. She asked her parents once again. "But Tina," said her mother. "But Tina," said her father. "You need time to take care of a pet," said Mother. "And time is something we don't have," said Dad. Subject closed. What could Tina say to that? And then one day a strange thing happened. During lunch, Tina made a discovery. Otto. Otto was hiding in Tina's lunchbox. Otto was small, very, very small. Otto was a ghost, a small white ghost, on Tina's sandwich. "Yuck!" squealed Otto. "How revolting! Jam! I hate jam. My shirt already stinks of jam. Get me out of here!" Otto hopped over the edge of the box. He started to run away. "Wait!" cried Tina. "Wait a second." "I'm out of here," said Otto. "Away from that stinky jam." "But what if Miss Wheeler sees you?" said Tina. "No problem," said Otto. "I'm invisible to grown-ups." "Only children can see you?" asked Tina. "Exactly," said Otto. "After all, I am a school ghost. I used to be a castle ghost, in a royal castle. Then only princes and princesses could see me." "Wow," said Tina. "But these days there is more happening in schools than in castles, if you know what I mean." Tina didn't, but she nodded anyway. "And now, time for a little spooking." And he rubbed his hands together. "No," said Tina, "it's time for class to start." She tried to grab Otto, but he slipped right through her fingers. Miss Wheeler came into the class. All the children sat in their seats. "It's more fun to spook during class time," Otto whispered loudly. He balanced on Anthony's ruler. Tina tried to catch Otto again. But instead, she knocked the ruler to the floor. Otto gave the ruler a swift kick. It slid under Miss Wheeler's desk. "Goodness, Tina," said Miss Wheeler. Otto flew around the class like a big fat white bee. Otto popped off his head and tucked it under his arm. That looked really disgusting. Then he played catch with his head. "Ooh, up you go," he said, and whee! He giggled coming down. Anthony clapped with delight, and Tina was enchanted. Miss Wheeler wanted to have a reading lesson, but Otto banged the reading books shut, one by one. Bam, bam, bam. Then, bam! He banged Miss Wheeler's book shut, and it fell to the floor. Miss Wheeler looked at Tina. "It wasn't me," said Tina. "I see. Then it must have been a ghost." "Exactly," said Tina. She had to giggle. Giggle, giggle, belly wiggle, cried Otto. He swooped around and tickled the children with his ghostly fingers. Soon all the children were giggling and laughing just like Tina. "Quiet, children, quiet!" shouted Miss Wheeler, but the children could not calm down. Now Otto was in full swing. He grabbed things off the desk and flung them across the room. Soon everyone joined in. It was a wild rumpus, and Tina and Anthony were right in the middle. Miss Wheeler started to laugh. "I suppose that's the end of our reading lesson for today," she said. Otto thought of something new. He dangled from the cupboard. "P.U. It stinks up here," he shrieked. "It smells clean, disgustingly clean." Otto pulled out some sticky green slime from his pocket. At once the class smelled dank and musty, like the dungeons of a haunted castle. "Oh, yes," cried Otto. "What sublime slime!" He let some dribble down onto Miss Wheeler's desk. "Oh my," said Miss Wheeler. "This classroom is really haunted." "It's Otto," called Anthony. "He is sitting on the cupboard." But Miss Wheeler couldn't see Otto. She asked Anthony to draw a picture of Otto on the board. "I can't draw ghosts," Anthony said. "Just cats." Anthony drew her a cat. When he saw the cat, Otto turned himself into a ghost dog. He had a long blue tongue and glowing red eyes. The children shrieked. "Does everyone remember the ghost song?" asked Miss Wheeler. "Why don't we sing it for Otto?" "Oh, yes," cried all the children. "Let's sing the ghost song." Swift as lightning, Otto turned himself back into a ghost. Otto was proud that the children were going to sing for him. He took 2 bones from his pocket. He beat them in time to the song. When school was over, Otto insisted on going home with Tina. Why not, thought Tina. He is invisible to Mother and Dad anyway. "But you have to promise to behave yourself," she said. "I promise," said Otto. "I will behave myself." "Are you sure?" asked Tina. "Cross my eyes and hope to die." Otto sat on Tina's shoulder. "Aren't ghosts already dead?" Tina asked, but Otto didn't answer. At home, Otto rang the bell over and over. "Ding dong, ding dong." "That wasn't me," said Tina when her mother opened the door. "It was a ghost." Mother didn't scold her, but she thought that Tina was telling stories. She couldn't see Otto, of course. Otto played one prank after another. He knocked books down from the shelves, he swung on the lights, he whistled through all the keyholes, and the keys fell clattering to the floor. Otto filled the sugar bowl with salt. Mamma's coffee tasted terrible. "Oh, Tina," cried Mother, "what is going on with you today?" "It wasn't me, honestly," said Tina. "It was a ghost from school. His name is Otto." Tina glared at Otto. "You promised you'd behave yourself," she whispered loudly. "I am. I'm behaving terribly," cried Otto. In the kitchen, Otto almost fell into the honey jar. Of course, honey spilled everywhere. "Tina," said Mother, "that is enough." "Mother," said Tina, "I am telling you the truth. Ask Miss Wheeler." "I believe something happened at school today," said her mother, and she picked up the phone. While she was talking, Otto took out 3 plump black spiders from his pocket and told them to go and make webs. Mother hung up the phone and shook her head in amazement. It must be true. A small invisible ghost? "Named Otto," said Tina. Later, Otto made a complete mess out of Tina's notebook. "I wonder if I could suck him up in the vacuum cleaner," her mother said, "along with his spider webs." "Not on your life!" bellowed Otto. He spread itching powder on Mother's chair. "I will never, ever go. I am your sweet little ghostio." Dad couldn't believe that there was a ghost in the house. He had to see Otto for himself. "Even if he is tiny," said Dad, "he must be visible." First, Dad got the binoculars. Then he got the magnifying glass. Finally, he tried to take a photo of Otto. But Otto was invisible, even in the picture. Of course, Dad didn't understand ghosts at all, thought Tina. Otto laughed. "That man is a real nincompoop," he said, and then he slid some ice cubes down the back of Dad's shirt. Dad lost his temper. He jumped up and stormed out of the house. When Dad came home, he had a thick book from the library. It was called All About Ghosts. He bent over it reading. "Here," he cried finally. "How to get rid of a small ghost, page 416. Tina read what her father showed her. "A cat in the house drives away troublesome rodent-sized ghosts." "A cat," whispered Tina. This time the whole family went out. Otto stayed behind. They went straight to the animal shelter. There were so many wonderful cats that Tina had a hard time choosing just one. But finally she decided on a big black cat with a white face and white paws. When they got home, Tina hugged her parents. "Oh, thank you," she said. "I promise I'll look after the cat myself." "Well," said her mother, "maybe we can help a bit." "Of course," said her father. "Now, let's see if this book about ghosts was right." "Come here, Otto," called Tina. Otto trembled in fear. "I got you a cat, but don't expect me to like it," said Otto. Tina stared at Otto very hard. "Is this all you're doing?" she asked. Otto winked at Tina. "I hate to boast," he said, "but I am a ghost. Wasn't it clever the way I got your parents to let you have a cat?" "It was magic," said Tina. She grinned at Otto. Otto grinned back. "Just one of my special tricks," he said. "Tomorrow I'm going back to school. I'm sure there are other children who could use my help." "I think you're right," said Tina. "And there are enough cats at the shelter for every one of them."